Hey, Jason, we made it. We made it. You can hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Wow.
Oh, thank you. We finally got some audio. So that's why we're 30 minutes behind schedule is because we were playing the Can You Hear Me Now as if it was a 1990s Verizon commercial. And, go figure, we got 1990s all over with the 49ers Cowboys, 49ers Packers. I'm so glad I don't have to be the Verizon guy saying, "Can you hear me now?" Because, oof, that that got real tough in there. I was legit like I was gonna pull my hair out and give myself a fade. That's how bad it was. Lord knows I need a fade at this moment. So I was about to just pull my hair out and give it to myself and bless myself in that way. If you're not too pissed off, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe to the channel, Jason's channel, my channel. You can see it there on the bottom ticker. Besides the audio issues, how you feeling, Jay?
I'm good, and I love the being able to be on your feet and segue all of that and bring it all together with the 90s. That was off the cuff, and that wasn't something that we discussed. And that's just bravo to you, Leo, and that's why you are who you are, bro.
Hey man, that's just I've been in sales for like the past 8, 9 years or whatever it is. So sometimes you just say the weirdest things off the top of your head, and half the time they don't make sense. So when they do make sense, I'm so glad when it could just come together. And I see you using corral in there, noticing that we corral the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Look at you. See, you're trying to give me props and you just give it back to yourself. I appreciate that. If you had to use a word for beating the Cowboys like this team did, what would it essentially be?
Vindication for 1992, 1993, 1994. Yeah, and let's just keep it a buck. The Cowboys fans weren't exactly nice or
Mm-mm.
humble going into this
Mm.
one. The only problem is they just disappeared, and
Yes.
that's my problem. It's like yeah, you were gonna have to come and get your comeuppance on this show, but don't disappear.
Mm-mm.
Like don't do all that. Don't pull up. Don't have us yelling at you. And Terrell Owens is still the best receiver in your team's history.
And you saw Terrell Owens basically little boy the Cowboys on Instagram.
Yeah. So like, where y'all at, man? Like, it's Tuesday, okay? Our team has to get ready to play another game because we
Mhm.
eliminated the Cowboys. It's Tuesday. Like, come back. Like, let's talk real quick. What I want to say is this: Dallas fans are now 49ers fans
Why-
because they want to say, well, we lost to the Super Bowl champions.
Oh, that would be them. That would be
That
them.
is them.
Oh, if we had that 1 second for that Hail Mary, we would have beat the 49ers and we would have won the Super Bowl. Oh my God, typical Cowboy attitude, which is li- they completely ignore that a Hail Mary has less than a 20% chance of having success. You basically Madison Bumgarner has a better chance to record a hit in an MLB game. That's how bad it is. Like baseball hitters, they get sent down and they lose their careers if they only hit the ball safely 20% of the time. And they swear they would have won the game if they had that 1 second on the clock. No, an interception is actually the same chance amount of just being around a completion. So stop the cap. Stop
And
the cap.
And it gets worse because, as Warren points out in the comments, Cowboys fans really blame the refs for losing. Cowboys players are blaming the refs for losing, and that's even
Wild.
worse.
Because they didn't have penalties all year long, right?
My
They
thing,
weren't
my thing is,
32nd in penalties against all year long.
my thing is, there weren't judgment call penalties. There were no PIs. Like those are judgment calls
Mhm,
sometimes, right? False
mhm,
starts are false starts. Grabbing linemen and throwing them to the ground is grabbing linemen and throwing to the. That's a holding.
mhm.
Delay a game is delay a game. Not understanding the rules and having to hand the ball to a referee, that's rules. That's not reps against you. You broke the rules multiple times because you're an undisciplined, unrefined team who's not coached well.
Definitely not coached well. There was a I'm so glad that I am not a Cowboys fan. I'm so glad I'm not a Cowboys podcaster or just Cowboys content creator. That is, I'm glad I don't have to, talk about this team after today, because that's an ugly team, man. They're really bad, and you have Prescott saying, "Oh, shout out to the fans for throwing bottles at the refs," as if you weren't the one that handed it to the center and not the ref. As a multi-$100 million quarterback, you hand it to a center. That's something you learn in high school.
Football IQ in the basement. And we knew Mike McCarthy was going to rear his head finally. There it
Mm-hmm.
was. Just poorly coached. The PFF book can't save you. You are who you are. They are who they are. And that's it's vindication, because a lot of us, we took a lot of crap from people because the Cowboys beat up on the NFC East, and we were supposed to be afraid of them for some reason. And the Arizona
Yes.
Cardinals, in their last 5 games, have only beaten one team, and that was the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, the quarterback. So basically, what happened was, in the press conference, Dak Prescott was alerted to things being thrown on the field, and he thought it was being thrown at the team. And he started to go into this whole cliched speech about, you act like guys aren't putting their whole bodies on the line, their lives on the line. We care that. And then when he was alerted to the fact that it was to the refs, and he was like, "Oh, all right, more power to them." Then he was like, "Oh, credit to them." Yeah, you probably shouldn't have said that one, Dak.
No, not at all. And what I love about this 49ers team is everybody's just out to win. They're out to play their role. It's not it's drama-free football, essentially. That's what I see with this 49ers team. And the reason why I say that is you see Brandon Ayuk setting the edge to Micah Parsons, Mr. You can't bully the bully, or whatever the hell he said. You have Brandon Ayuk, a wide receiver, setting the edge on the all pro linebacker that has 13 and a half sacks on the year. You have him doing that. Meanwhile, you have guys on the Cowboy side like CeeDee Lamb just walking to the line of scrimmage in a hurry up offense, in a hurry up mode. It wasn't just CeeDee Lamb, it was also Noah Brown. When Dak went ahead and rushed for those 16 yards and slid, Noah Brown walked to back to the line of scrimmage to get set like if they had all day. And that's what I love to see from the 49ers team is I see guys that want to win, that put the team first, that's not putting themselves first. There was one guy on this team that was, and it was Josh Norman at a certain point, but he's no longer a starter.
And he gets
Wait,
cooked by
he
punters
still
now.
gets for he's it
He
don't
gets
matter who's
cooked.
that don't matter
And
who's that quarterback.
the guy who catches it is just like, "Where's Josh Norman?" It's even the punter. He's like, "All right, throw it over there." It's just like, goodness gracious, Josh Norman, what do you do here, bro?
The and also the Cowboy fans that were in our chat last week, I told them that we're gonna be here on Tuesday. I hope to see you guys on Tuesday as well. And
One
I don't
Cowboys
see
fan,
any of them in the chat. I don't
one
see them any
Cowboys
in the
fan, one Cowboys fan pulled up for the post game, pulled up for sprint right option on Monday. He even sent a super chat and said, "You guys were right. Go, go." And I gave him his props. The rest of them dudes, man, that's your typical Cowboy smash and dash fans, bro. Like, that's what I'm talking about. It's the same thing with those Rams fans that were in here talking crazy 2 weeks ago. Now they want to be back capping like it wasn't just you were playing the Arizona fraudulent Cardinals, and they just frauded themselves out on national television. Like, I hope the Rams beat the Bucks, because I got the Niners beating the Packers.
if
Let's
the
run this back.
Rams
Run it back. Run it back.
if the Niners beat the Packers. So we'll just put the if game, that's fine. If the Niners beat the Packers, if the Rams beat the Bucks, I'm starting a GoFundMe. I'm going to the NFC Championship game in Levi South. Whatever it takes, I'm gonna go to all the grocery starts in my neighborhood and just go dumpster diving for aluminum cans. At that point, I am gonna go to that game. So hopefully it sets up correctly. Hopefully I also don't have to dumpster dive. That would shout
No,
out to
and
people that do
I,
that.
I don't want you to do that. Like, I'll go tailgate, but then I'll probably go watch that somewhere else. That's a little bit outside of my budget. But flights to LA are not as expensive as you believe they are. So that would be perfect. But then it would be optimal because that sets up back-to-back SoFi
Yep.
games. But hey, let's
But Green Bay's no one to sleep on.
no.
I saw Cowboy fans um, basically looking for flights in Tampa. I don't want to get that far. I don't want to get that far. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna start collecting aluminum cans right now to afford the ticket prices for an NFC Championship game. That's just a scenario at this point. Talking about non divas and these guys that are just working really hard. Give me a word for Debo Samuel telling Kyle Shanahan, "Give me the ball."
Massive. I mean, a star, a dog, a boss. Like I just, you get the interception, and he looks at Kyle, and he said, and look, it's funny because our guy Sam Houston from KMBR, he pulled it together.
Mhm.
All three clips in which all three players, two players and coach described the same scenario where Debo said, "All right," Kyle, he said, "I told him, Kyle, give me the ball," and Jimmy said, "Yeah." I looked at Debo, and Debo was like, "Yeah, give me the ball." He had that look in his eye, and then Kyle said, "Yeah, he kind of mouthed something, and it sounded like, give me the ball, and it's really easy as a play caller if you can,
Um,
if you can get him the ball." But I thought that was really cool, man. It's just, what's crazy about it is that Debo gets the ball and it looks like there's a bunch of blockers there. He takes the cutback
mhm.
lane and then the acceleration to just run right past two Cowboys. It was like if I was an adult and I had two kids chasing me, like I'm gonna run right through that little gap that they give, man. And it's incredible. Debo Samuel's season is, I like to joke that he saved the 49ers season in Chicago with that long pass, but I like to joke that Debo Samuel saves the season once a week, basically, at this point, which is why 49er fans are so, banging the table for him to get at least one first place most valuable player vote. When you see that, that's the type of stuff that I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, right? That's the type of stuff that when they
Yeah.
make those DVDs at the end of the season for a team that, went really far, and, I'm not going to go ahead and say it, because I'm also being superstitious, but that's one of those moments when you run back the DVD, you're like, yo, that's like a turning point right there. Like that's one of those, like, remember that time moment, like in this timeline, and it felt like that. It felt like a moment, especially when you listen to the mic'd up portion, which you guys can find on Inside the NFL if you have Paramount Plus. You can see the whole game where Debo literally is like, Kyle, and he looks at him and he's like, let's go, like give me the ball, and it literally happened like that. So
I mean, that's what you want from your guys in the playoffs, right? Is to call for their shot, to pretty much big ball it and say, I want this season goes on my shoulders and you ride with it. Usually that's up to the quarterback, but for the 49ers, it's up to Debo Samuel, and I'm okay with that if it's up to Debo Samuel because he affects you more than just in the passing game. He obviously had the rushing touchdown. He could do a hell of a lot from wide receiver. Let's not forget about that. It's, as if he didn't catch for 1,400 yards on the year. Um, for anything, I'm just so excited for Debo Samuel. This is only year 3. Um, I'm someone that ate crow because in the beginning of the year I said this is Brandon Ayuk's. He's wide receiver 1 on this team. Excluding George Kittle, obviously in the passing game, I was like Brandon Ayuk is wide receiver 1. But Debo Samuel quickly showed how stupid I can be at times, just like DJ Reed did online.
I was waiting
Um,
for this. I was waiting for that one.
just like DJ Reed. If you guys haven't found it out, DJ Reed did a highlight tape and put one of my quotes in his highlight tapes. He kind of waited 2 years to go ahead and do that highlight tape after I said it, but it's fine. It's fine if he wants to wait 2 years for it. I said it. Since then, I've been saying that he's been playing at a high level and the 49ers screwed up, and then he hits me with the straight uppercut out of nowhere. I was like, thanks, DJ.
And Leo
Um,
turns into Adrian Broner. I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked. He made me look like Stephen A. Smith out there, but it's fine. It's fine. Um, but yeah, with Debo Samuel, this kid is it's weird saying kid now, but I'm older than him, so he is kid to me. Um, he is wide receiver 1, running back 1, uh, weapon 1, whatever it is. When you look at high school recruits going into college, oh, what's their ranking? He's just athlete 1. That's what he is. So with Debo Samuel, and the thing is, he does. That's what I talk about drama free football with this team. He says, "Kyle, give it to me, let's go," but he doesn't play the theatrics. He's not in cinema. He doesn't have an OBJ meltdown as much as I love OBJ. Debo Samuel, you don't see him kicking a net, proposing to a net. You don't see all the. We've lived with Terrell Owens, and while I relate Terrell Owens to OBJ a whole lot more than national media wants to rate Terrell Owens to Antonio Brown, which that's just completely different. Those two don't collide together. We don't get that with Debo Samuel. So you get the fun, you get the shine, you get everything from Debo Samuel without the drama, and you can't ask for more out of that guy.
Yeah, what a season, man. This is like one of the most remarkable seasons I've ever seen from a 49er. And I remember Jerry Rice and I remember Terrell Owens. And I never remembered a player who was literally a home run threat anytime the ball was in his hand, no matter how he got it. And that's exactly what Debo Samuel is. There's a wild stat going around by someone from PFF who extrapolated Debo Samuel's efficiency numbers rushing the ball, and it comes out to something crazy that he would rush over 17 games, 2,100 yards. He would have 44 touchdowns and like 117 broken tackles if you extrapolated his efficiency numbers for the small touches that he has gotten at running back.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, that's something that can't actually happen. But I think that when you look at the efficiency numbers, if he did have a chance at a workload like a Jonathan Taylor or a Derrick Henry, that's obviously not optimal, but he will put up similar numbers. And I think that's really what the point of it was.
This is fair from Diego here. Is Debo Samuel a wizard? This reminds me of the 2019 run, the clip of Kyle Shanahan talking to the referee how the Packers defender would commit a holding, and it happened. Debo Samuel said, give me the ball. And very first play, he gets the ball on a handoff and scores a touchdown. Is Debo Samuel a wizard? Did he know what was going to happen next?
Yeah.
That's
Yes. I mean, look, it's confidence. It's understanding where they were offensively at that game. And we'll talk about this game a little bit further, and then we'll get into the Packers game because it is a short turnaround, right? Like, it's not like we get to sit around and wait till Sunday. Like, the 49ers have to play on Saturday. So technically, this morning, I flipped the page to Packers week, but I'm still not done cooking the Cowboys. I'm still not done cooking the Cowboys for a little while longer. I'm really not. There's a lot to talk about in terms of what the 49ers have going on. Yeah, they're having a practice right now. Kyle Shanahan was at the podium a little bit earlier, but yeah, it was the confidence that the 49ers had. They were doing their thing in terms of knowing exactly where to hit. That Michael Parsons, I don't know why you said what you had to say, bro. Like, I get the confidence, but come on, man. Deep in your heart, you had to know that your team's not built like that. And that's what I've been trying to tell people the whole time. Is you're closer to the Rams than anything.
They're fake tough. They're fake tough. I saw it in there because I looked at their player interviews on the Dallas Cowboys YouTube channel as well to see, like, okay, what are these guys saying, like, as far as preparation for the 49ers? And a guy that stood out to me is like DeMarcus Lawrence. Oh, I don't want to talk about them. I want to talk about our guys. It's like, dude, they're asking you preparations about a team that you're going to play in the playoffs, and you're getting very, very pissed off about it. Go ahead.
Breaking news. Dak Prescott's released a statement on his weak-ass comment about the referees. I deeply regret the comments I made regarding the officials after the game on Sunday. I was caught up in the emotion of a disappointing loss, and my words were uncalled for and unfair. Don't care, cry more, ratio,
Don't
plus go home, get a job, and plus L. Is that how the kids do it?
plus L ratio.
Ratio. No, I'm going to quote Sweetie with that. Ratio plus L, go home, get a job.
It's open season on Cowboys fans. It has to be. That Dak Prescott, I don't want to talk about him too much, but that was weak. There was, like, dude, you were wrong for going at them because you were incorrect on the criticism that you gave them. Your defense, like, it was like you said, it was no judgment penalties. It was legit penalties that occurred in that game. And there was also more, like it was Randy Gregory basically throwing a punch to Debo Samuel when he's tackled on the ground that wasn't called. So there was other penalties. Like, it's not like the referees threw the book at you guys for every little detail. They didn't. Um, so with Dak Prescott saying that, it's like, dude, like, why are you so emotional? You if anything, should be emotional at yourself for not giving the ball to the referee in that situation. Be emotional at yourself. And it
What
doesn't look
I'm
like he fully owned that.
right.
Granted, it's a Twitter, it's a tweet, but it's just weak. It's just
What it is too is that Dak is very good at saying all the right things all the time. Very
a
well
bowl of
spoken.
chunky soup.
Everybody everybody would love to have a quarterback like Dak who goes up to the podium and usually says all the right things, right? That's what made it shocking, right? This isn't Baker Mayfield popping off at the lip, who has said crazy things. Like Dak is usually measured. So that's what made it all the more shocking when it came to that. And it was the way that the press actually allowed him a chance to walk it back, and he doubled down 2 questions later. And I think that was the problem. Like they had a chance to say, "Okay, do you realize what you just said right now?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know what I said." He was like, "Good for them." Like like you were upset. Yeah, I don't know how many
Jimmy
wins.
G said ratio on the Cowboys franchise. Jimmy G pulled ratio on the whole Cowboys franchise.
All right, look, let's talk about like the game though. Like let's talk about like the
Let's
actual game.
let's talk about Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for concern into Lambeau from the quarterback position? We're hearing about this shoulder on his throwing shoulder. Obviously, his thumb's been known. Is there a reason to be concerned about the quarterback position right now?
This is the same concern that you have anytime Jimmy G is taking the ball and is going to be the quarterback in any game. Is he did enough in the first half to put them up, but these wild swings from Jimmy Garoppolo is what everybody kind of fears. And that's not, again, nobody's hating, and I'm not giving an opinion. The man is not steady throughout games. It's a proven fact. And the 49ers are just in a spot right now where they are at the will of Jimmy Garoppolo, meaning they need him this week if they want to beat the Packers. If he doesn't play well and he puts up that sort of second half performance that he did against Dallas, against Green Bay, the 49ers are not leaving Green Bay as winners. So this team that is supremely talented, supremely coached, is at the whim of however Jimmy Garoppolo decides to play in this game. Could he do what he did against the Rams? For sure. Could he do what he did against Dallas? For sure. Could he do what he did against Tennessee? For sure. Could he do what he did against Atlanta? For sure. Which one of those? Who the hell knows?
50
And
Shades
that's
of
the
Jimmy?
problem. Yeah. I mean, it's just, look, that's the thing, right? There's this side, Jimmy
Mhm,
Garoppolo supporters, right? There's this
mhm.
side, Jimmy Garoppolo detractors. Ask a Jimmy Garoppolo supporter, and they will say these 3 words: Jimmy is fine. On this side, most of the people will say Jimmy is fine. But yet, Jimmy is fine from this side is not the same as Jimmy is fine from this side. The
Mhm.
point is, he is fine. And you guys are agreeing with each other. He's fine. That's the word. He's fine. They win games. He's fine. The problem is, when he's not going well, he can sink your game. He didn't sink this game, so who cares, right? He did enough early on to finish the game and get it done. But this is always the concern as a 49er fan. What Jimmy Garoppolo is going to show up. And then always, right after a somewhat subpar performance, oh, he hurt this. Oh, this is bothering him. Okay, I hope that's the truth. But now you're asking him to go into Green Bay now, thumb hurting, shoulder hurting, and I have no doubt in my mind that he's starting. I don't give a damn what that other Jason is
Yeah.
reporting because he's
Okay, so
wrong.
the
Yeah.
other Jason.
Yeah, that other Jason, please, look, like me as president of the
Oh,
board of Jasons, we do not
see,
acknowledge Jason McIntyre. We do not acknowledge him. So me, like, it's like the book of Ricks. Like, have you ever seen Rick and Morty? The board of Ricks, the board of Ricks, the board of Jasons do not acknowledge Jason McIntyre. So just, I apologize for other Jasons, and we don't acknowledge him or Jason Whitlock. Those are the 2 Jasons we do not.
oh,
We do not acknowledge either of those guys. So I don't care what he's talking about. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to start on Sunday, but don't tell me that you're walking into this game like Jimmy's going to be fine. Dude, if that shoulder's bothering him and that's the reason that he looked like he did in that game at the end, then you got to be a little bit nervous at this point, on top of the regular worries that you have with him just being Jimmy Garoppolo.
with this injury or what's going on with Jimmy Garoppolo, um, what do you think the biggest thing you like? What's the biggest thing you want to see from Kyle Shanahan's offense? Because I expect him to play as well.
Yeah.
And Warren wants to give you a shout out saying, "Thank you, real Jason."
Got to put on for the real
So
ones. Is that every Jason ain't built the same? Jason McIntyre and Jason Whitlock are not allowed. They're not allowed to the Jason cookout. Jason from Crystal Lake, he's invited. He's good. They're not good. The guy from Friday the 13th is good at the Jason cookout, but Jason McIntyre and Jason Whitlock are not.
Jason Whitlock is insane. Um,
I'm Mr. B6. Let's go, Lee. That's a Rick and Morty joke. I'm sorry.
oh, okay. Um, the thing is with Jason McIntyre as well. He says he heard from SF, but yet his connection in SF, what was their response saying, "Hey, the 49ers aren't here. They're actually south in Santa Clara." Was that the connection he got or and then he played it off as something else?
You kind of cut out real quick. Say that one more time. I'm sorry, Leo.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm saying did Jason McIntyre said he heard from someone in SF.
Yeah, he said
49ers aren't in SF.
yeah, he
They're in
said
Santa Clara.
he texted somebody in SF, and I did the same, except mine got bounced back with this message did not make it to sender. So I don't know. Take from that what you will.
Got it. It's yeah, it's weird. I fully expect Jimmy Garoppolo to play. Is this another classic Shanahan move right now? Is
Yeah,
that what we're in the middle of? Classic
yeah,
Shanahan?
yeah. You know, I don't have to tell you guys anything. I know what we're doing. So, I wish it was Sunday already. I only have one more press conference, so I don't have to keep listening to you guys. And yeah, I know exactly what we're doing. So, yeah, I just don't want to tell you.
Over under how many times Kyle Shanahan says that he's tired of talking about Jimmy's shoulder this week?
I'm gonna set it at 3, and I'm gonna put it at under. I'm gonna set it at 3, and I'm gonna put it at under because I got it at 2. Today's Tuesday, right? So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are the last times that they're gonna get to speak. So today he was limited.
Mhm.
He already spoke about that. That's once. He didn't say it today. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I expect out of these 3 days, you'll get at least 2. I don't expect all 3 days that you'll get one of those, but so I'm gonna say the number is 3, and I'm gonna put it under because of 2.
I think that's probably fair. If I could put $5, $20 on it, I would do it right now. Because that it's definitely coming. um, I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I can't wait till I stop talking about this, man. And it's just like you're the one who you're making this happen this entire time. Like you could literally come out on Thursday and be like, Jimmy Garoppolo starting. No one would care,
Yes,
bro. Like I promise you.
yes.
It's not
Okay.
like the Packers are gonna be like, we've never faced a running quarterback before. What do we do, man?
Is is Ambry Thomas good? Is he
Right now,
good?
yes. Yeah, right now, yes. Right now,
Okay.
yes. Right now, yes. And yeah, I'll leave some crow. I wasn't the biggest on him when I looked at his college film. Wasn't the biggest when I saw what happened in preseason. But that's the thing about rookies, right? Is they get a chance and they get to write their own story. And who knew? Rookies get better with reps. And he hasn't been facing some bums, right?
Mhm.
Bengals,
Mm-mm.
they have some good receivers. The Cooper and Lamb and even Cedric Wilson, that wasn't an easy thing. And he continues to stack game after game. The same thing with the Rams, marketing pro. Yes, marketing pro. Cooper Cup, Odell Beckham, they're good. You're welcome, bro. You got to give you something. So he's faced a bunch of people that are good, and he's playing well, man. And I think that right now, this is the difference between the 49ers team that they faced in the home opener and the team that they face right now. The starting cornerbacks are probably in the best position that they'll be in all year. And there will be hopefully if Fred Warner and Nick Bosa make this game as healthy as possible, with the fact that Elijah Mitchell will be playing as opposed to Trey Sermon and Jawan Jennings will be in there instead of Mohamed Sanu. So right now, that's a lot what the 49ers have to look into it. But man, Ambry Thomas has been a godsend, and it sucks that it took everybody to get injured for him to see some playing time. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. It sucks that people had to get injured, like a guy like Jason Verrett. He's someone that they could definitely bring back on a 1 year deal if both sides would like to entertain possibly a reunion for one last chance, essentially. Let's take it to the other side, though. Emmanuel Mosley was an undrafted free agent, got a starting role in the Super Bowl year, and took it over from Ahkello Witherspoon, and definitely took it over after the or during the Minnesota game after Ahkello gave up the touchdown in man coverage to Stephon Diggs. So where I'm leading to that is Emmanuel Mosley came as this like borderline cornerback two, to where okay, opposite of Jason Verrett, he's a really good cornerback too, to where now he has switched to the other side of the football field. Is Emmanuel Mosley a legit cornerback one of this team moving forward?
For the rest of the year, yes. And he's played like that all year. And
Okay, so
again,
going into next year, if they say
mhm,
if the idea is Emmanuel Mosley is cornerback one.
should be fine. I mean, they'll have their pass rushers and they'll figure out a way. It depends, right? There's going to be 30 something free agents, and a lot of them are on defense, and we'll figure out where guys lay and how this roster shakes out. But I'm okay with it. And a lot of what Emmanuel Mosley has done this year has been in the absence of Jason Verrett. So he has been that guy, right? Like, he
Hmm.
is that guy, pal. The thing is, too, right, is if you're the quarterback for an opposing team, and I know how well Ambry Thomas has played, right? You look
Hmm.
over one side, you see Emmanuel Mosley. You look over the other side and you see Ambry Thomas. Who are you going to test? And I think a lot of
Yeah.
that is the same way that you can look at the way Richard Sherman was viewed for his last few years while he was here. Yes, Sherman was still great in his cover three, not exactly a man guy, but quarterbacks were looking and saying, man, I'm not going at that guy. I'm going to go at the other guy. So that's why sometimes when Emmanuel Mosley got beat, people were a little bit, I guess, overreactionary to it because
Hmm.
it's just the lesser of two evils. It's not that you think he's bad. It's just I'm not going to throw at that guy. Now, the 49ers could have thrown at Trevon Diggs as many times as they wanted to. In fact, they could have iced the game because that
Right.
man was getting his boots smoked.
Cooked.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's on the film. Like, that's the beauty part is I'm like cutting up all the clips where Ayuk is like running away from him into another state and he's just running into a whole other county. But it's not nothing against Ambry Thomas. It's just
Mhm.
if you're looking at two matchups, then you're going to go with the other one. So
Right. No, that totally makes sense. So we'll see that as Ambry Thomas gets better, hopefully, obviously that's the outcome, that he gets better, then maybe Emmanuel Mosley gets tried out a little more. So hopefully that high success that he's having right now can continue. I did see a few questions in here. Is this a Vernon Davis jersey? Yes, this is a Vernon Davis jersey. You could tell it's the maroon red basically because it don't match my hat. I don't have a maroon 49ers hat. It is what it is. But George, we appreciate your donation, George. Garoppolo reminded me from Achilles. He is the Achilles of the 49ers, and maybe because of him, that the 49ers lose against Green Bay. Just run the ball. Well,
they will.
honestly, if they're just running the ball, they probably won't lose because of Jimmy Garoppolo. We could talk about how bad Green Bay's rush defense is. They're they're 30th in yards per attempt. I believe from what I've seen last, they're really really bad. The thing is, teams don't run on them much. They don't run. They're the 20 people, they're the fourth less rushing attempts teamed on. That's because they're always ahead. So teams are having to pass the ball to get back in it with Aaron Rodgers. And with the Packers, they're also a very balanced offense. They are about 15th in passing attempts in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback on offense. You're 15th in passing attempts, and your rushing attempts are 17th in the NFL. So that shows a very balanced offense. They are top 10 in time of possession with the football. So they definitely try to use what the 49ers formula is keep the other team's offense on the sideline. And that helps when you have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. But the 49ers do have an aggressive running game, and I expect them to keep the ball in their hands for a long time in this one.
Yeah,
Um,
and this isn't going to be where Jimmy Garoppolo is going to skate by with 8 passes, though. Let's just be clear. You're still going to have to do what the 49ers did in this Dallas game. Run the ball 35, 38 times. Like that's part of how you do this, right? And That's a winning strategy. But Jimmy Garoppolo is not. The reason that he was only able to throw the ball 8 times in that Green Bay game is because they were gashing them run after run and run after run, run after run. And that Packers team, this is what has me still on the side of this team. That Packers team still punch them in the mouth, make them feel uncomfortable, and they'll take the ball and go home. Aaron Rodgers is good for that. It happened earlier this year. The Jacksonville Jaguars, oh no, they played in Jacksonville against the New Orleans Saints. The Saints were punching them in the mouth a little bit. All right, now you want to go home. You don't want to play. Oh, it's not our week. That's just how they are. Again, the same thing that I said about the Rams, same thing about the Cowboys, it applies to the Packers. And the only reason I feel like that, and I have the confidence in that, is because I know the team on the other side. The 49ers are physical. And if the 49ers are able to execute and aren't shooting themselves in the foot, and they start drives and they're scoring the way that they started in that Dallas game, there's not many teams that can beat them. Not many teams that can beat them at this point. I would argue that this team right now is more physical than 2019. I would argue that. And that's with, Tom Compton and
Yes.
obviously Trent didn't play in 2019. Trent Williams wasn't on that team. But I would argue that. I would argue this team is a little bit nastier than 2019. And that styles makes fights, matchups are matchups, that's fine. But teams tend to fold. The Rams fold. Cowboys will fold. The Packers, you punch them in the mouth and you go up a little bit, they're going to fold. Like, that's just how it is, man. Like, that's why the Rams are front runners. They get up, they win a little bit. They're up on the Cardinals. That's it. You can take it and you can run with it. But when things come to your doorstep and guys are punching you in the mouth and pushing you around, that's when y'all fold. And that's where the Packers are at, too. The Packers still have similar tendencies to they do in 2019. They just haven't been asked to do that as much. And they've won 13 games 3 straight years. So you have to give them respect, too. But styles make fights, man. When it comes down to it, the 49ers have the type of offense that nobody wants to face at all. None. Because they have enough to wear you down. And if Jimmy Garoppolo is good Jimmy, and he is completing passes on third down and not turning the ball over, this team becomes even that harder to beat. But again, it all comes back to our original point.
What's the non-obvious? So let's get creative with it. What's the non-obvious? Because when I say obvious, say Jimmy interceptions. What's the non-obvious thing that the 49ers have to avoid in order to not lose this game?
Yeah, you can't let Kenny Clark do what he did last game in the home opener. Alex Mack and the inside of this line have gotten exponentially better. And that's something that you should be excited about. That's, again, what I'm talking about. That team that the 49ers faced in week 3, that's not the same team they got. This ain't the same team that we got at this point. Elijah Mitchell didn't play in this game. Mohamed Sanu is not starting anymore. The corners are better. And the interior line is much better. Kenny Clark was destroying the inside. Alex Mack has been stonewall perfect, like basically down the stretch. This offensive line was beautiful this past week against Dallas. All that talk about Micah Parsons and Lawrence and Gregory, not one sack on the boy. Not one sack. And that's just a credit to this line. This team is different. They're nastier. And up front, they are better on the offensive line. So if Kenny Clark can get neutralized, Darius Smith is going to have his time with Tom Compton. But this is still largely the same team that the 49ers know from 2019. So if they're able to play their game, then they shouldn't fear the other team because they still can do things that will neutralize the other team.
Like Danielson said here, is Debo wasn't used at running back. And
There you go.
back-to-back winner-go-home games, Debo scored a rushing touchdown, a long rushing touchdown from the running back position. So I think I'm glad that you brought up the 49ers interior offensive line. I'm glad you brought up Alex Mack because Alex Mack, yes, he isn't necessarily with the same responsibilities as Trent Williams does in pass protection. He, as far as straight up the man's rushing, a lot of times you're helping, you're either going left, right. It's less one-on-one. That I completely understand. But the center position in pass pro was terrible last season. And looking at this season, Alex Smack gives up the least amount of pressures for every pass protection snap. So he's doing a hell of a job, doing it at a higher rate than Trent Williams. Once again, Trent Williams has different responsibilities as Alex Mack. Alex Mack has a lot of responsibilities himself. I don't. There's a reason why he doesn't necessarily have one-on-one protecting responsibilities a lot of the time. So, what's the one thing you said? The one thing that they must avoid. other than the running game, other than defending Devontae Adams, what's something that the 49ers need to have in their favor to come out with the win?
Time of possession. And you need to keep the Packers off of the field and turn them one dimensional with the way that you have escorted the game. Score your points, make them one dimensional. And I understand Aaron Rodgers is not somebody that you're just like, hey, throw the ball, but you'd rather have them in positions where you know exactly what they want to do. This pass rush right now is surging, and Nick Bosa left this game, and they still were in Dak Prescott's back pocket every single time that he dropped back, basically. And that just is a testament to the coaching and the talent that they've banked on. So you have to be able to put yourself in an advantageous spot where if you give yourself a little lead, just know that Aaron Rodgers is going to chip away at that eventually. Like it's not gonna just be
Yep.
like some rollover game, right? Like if you're up 13-0, 17-0, just know that that's not how the game's going to go. Like you need to give yourself a cushion for when they punch, then you punch back, and you're able to do enough at the end of the game with your physicality to wear them down and run the ball and kill the clock and finish the game how you need to. So it's about time of possession. If the 49ers can control that and they limit the Jimmy no throws, then yes, this team has as good a chance to beat any team in the land as long as they play mistake-free football.
Warren's going for what it was against the Cowboys. Stop the rushing attack and make them one dimensional. That would be perfect. And the Packers, they haven't been so great at rushing the ball either. They've been below average in rushing yards per attempt, even though that they run it at a high clip and they want to be a balanced offense as much as possible. So even if they're not having success, they're having less than 3 yards per carry, like Zeke was with the Cowboys. Even though they're not having that success, they're still going to be to try to be a lot more balanced than Dallas Cowboys were. And if you could make that team one dimensional, that goes huge in your favor. Something that I want to go back on is something the 49ers have to avoid. And I'm gonna say it's having not a double digit points in either half. They had a lot of this time this year, they've had single digit points in each half. So it was the Rams, 3 points in the first half, and they had to fight their way back in. And I don't know if you come out victorious against Aaron Rodgers, even though they were trailing week 3 17-0, but this is a different situation. You can't just go back on that and say, we could come back, it's guaranteed because we did it once this year. Different situation. You weren't playing in Lambeau in January when that week 3 game happened. Can't score 3 points in the first half or second half. You can't score just 7 points in the first half or second half like they did against the Cowboys this past weekend, where they scored only 7 points in the second half. If they scored just 10 points in the second half, this game's over. There is no 1 second drama. There's none of that. This game is absolutely over. And hell, you just step on their neck and call it game. Call it game. Call game. That's what the 49ers need to do in order to come out of Lambeau with the win. Just score some points, more than single digits in each half. That's all you got to do. And while I try to make it sound pretty easy, these Packers fans in the chat are gonna say that is not easy against their team.
And they're not going to be here Tuesday,
They're not gonna be here Tuesday like the Cowboys fans
or the Rams fans.
or marketing pros here because they won against the Cardinals.
Marketing Pro wasn't here when they got their asses whipped, though.
He
So I
wasn't.
don't want to.
He
I don't want to
wasn't, but
hear
they beat
that.
the
Like you,
Cardinals and now he's
yeah,
here.
you beat the Cardinals. La di da, bro. Nobody cares. My high school team could have beat the Cardinals. They're terrible. Cliff Kingsbury's a fraud, but you didn't pull up the week after. So stop acting like you want the smoke. Let him be a troll, and I'll just let the chat get his ass, man. Stop it, man.
Yeah. Oh, the chat's wild. The
Yeah.
chat's great, man. They got more bars than I do. That's for sure. Um, marketing pros hilarious
No, I
himself.
like him. I mean, I'm enjoying the act, but it's like, bro, you should
He
have did this. You should
fake
have did
tough.
this on. Yeah, you
Fake
should have did
tough.
this on. You should have did this Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, when we were clowning on your team.
Yes.
When we were clowning on Matthew Montana. All that stuff. But yeah, man.
Nail in the coffin. Is there anything you want to talk about that? Put the nail in the coffin.
That's it. It's just that you hit that Ayuk blaze out. You don't throw an interception there. You convert that QB sneak. This game just like that's the thing is you give a better team those same sort of opportunities and you don't put them away, like the Packers, they're going to make you pay. Aaron Rodgers, all he needed was 37 seconds with no timeouts, and he went down and made the 49ers pay. Thank God the Dallas Cowboys are so poorly coached and so poorly run that they were able to just be themselves there at the end, because another team would have taken advantage of that. And that's, again, I'm not mad at 49er fans that, like, now that the win is settled in, you're concerned with, okay, if you don't make enough plays to put teams away, that starts to play out like a certain game that we don't want to talk about. And it, for some stretches, kind of felt like that. Like, are we really about to do this again? Like, are we really about to, like, give it all up? And look, it's not all on the quarterback. It's a team sport, but you got to hit that throw to Ayuk. That ends the game. If you hit him in space, that's it. He probably takes that to the house. You convert that fourth down, game over. Like, you don't throw that interception, game over. Like, you cannot continue to give guys chances, man. And thank God Dallas is so inept. Thank God.
Let's talk about it as well. Kyle, it seems like when we want him to be aggressive, he's not aggressive. When we don't want him to be aggressive, he's aggressive. What's your stance? 49ers had multiple 4th-and-1s this game, where I think the first one was in about the second quarter where they kicked a field goal to make it 13-0. There was that one. There was another one around midfield where it was in the fourth quarter. They decided to punt it. And then they were going to go for the other one, but Jimmy Garoppolo didn't have that internal clock of Trent Williams needs to set. What's your take on the fourth downs with this team? If they're in Lambeau, 40-yard line, 4th-and-1, like what's your take on that? Say it's a one-score game either way. Either you're either up or you're trailing. You could cater it to either way. What's your take on this whole Shanahan management of fourth downs? Because I feel like the play caller Shanahan they have not been converting a lot of these. They haven't.
He should have went for it on that 4th-and-1, right? But at the same time, a lot of 49er fans were upset when they didn't go for it on fourth on the other side of the field when it was like 4th and a mile, and they punted to the Rams, and Sean McVay, folded his tent and ran the ball 3 times, and then Jimmy Garoppolo takes care of the rest after that. So it's dependent on the situation. Right there with that offense, I would have tried to finish finish it off right there, 4th-and-1. Me, me, I'm Mr. Go for it on every fourth down, right? As long as it makes sense. I was happy that Robbie Gould made those 50-yard field goals. That's great, and thank you for that. Like, I'm not even being a jerk. Like, I'm not even joking or anything like that. Thank you, Robbie Gould. I appreciate you, bro. These last 2 weeks, you have been invaluable, man. I don't know where this team would be without you. But in that case, there has to be a little bit of balance between analytics and how you're feeling and putting games away. So at that point on 4th-and-1, you can just put the game away and just, finish that off. So, like, that's my thing is it has to be a little bit of feel. And I feel like Kyle still is in conservative mode in certain spots. And I think he's even said so in press conferences as well. So it's hard to say, but right there, I would have gone for it. But again, I'm not the coach, and it didn't, end up costing them because they wound up winning the game. But again, better teams are going to capitalize on as many chances as you give them. And I think that's a lot of 49er fans' worry going into this game is about, can you capitalize on their mistakes? Like, you get the interception from K'Wan Williams and you score a touchdown, it starts to feel like this game's over. This game's over. They can't stop this defense. They can't stop this offense. This defense is cooking. They're going to be very one-dimensional, which they were for a large portion of the game. But yeah, I mean, that is a valid concern for 49ers fans is, can you deliver the knockout blow? And you're going to need to, especially on the road. Like, you're not playing this game at Levi's. You're playing it at Lambeau. And if you continue to give Aaron Rodgers shots, 49er fans know very well, going back to the home opener, he doesn't need that much time to break your heart. You're muted, I think.
I saw a little thing that Grant said, so it's controversial, that the 49ers ran the ball with Deebo Samuel on that 3rd-and-10, late in the game there, where they try to get the Jimmy sneak in the play after, the one where Deebo Samuel picked up basically 9.8 8 yards on. He said that they ran the play because Shanahan doesn't trust Jimmy Garoppolo. Are you buying that take or are you selling it?
One more time, repeat it.
It's fine. I'll forgive you. I'll forgive
No,
you.
I'm sorry.
So, on the 3rd and 10, Shanahan chose to run the end around with Debo Samuel, where he picked up the 9.8 yards and almost picked up the first down to ice the game. Your, our guy, your guy mainly, Grant, said that they ran that play with Debo because he did not trust Jimmy to pick up the first down on 3rd and 10. Do you buy
I,
that take or do you sell it?
no, I buy that one. Just
You buy it.
even if he didn't know about the injury, just look at how he was throwing the ball. You expect him to do that on 3rd and 10 when they were kind of clamping everything there? Yeah, I definitely
Mhm,
buy that. And that's not a knock at Jimmy. Again, I just talked about feel and book, right? The analytics
mhm.
tell you to do one thing, but the feel, how do you feel your quarterback is performing right now? And why would you put him in that spot? All you're going to do is get an incompletion or worse. And what happens? You stop the clock or turn the ball over. I think he did the right thing. I feel like Debo got the first down. They would have gotten the first down. But again, those sequences, those cannot happen in Green Bay. If you're going to have those, everybody's got to get set and you've got to finish it. So I do buy that sentiment from Kyle Shanahan that from Grant about Kyle not trusting him right there, just based on the feel of the game. That is not an overarching point on how Kyle feels about Jimmy Garoppolo altogether, right? Because clearly he's going to throw him out there with a messed up shoulder, messed up thumb. So that's clearly that he has confidence in him. But I think right there in that moment, you have to buy that sentiment because I'm sure that he knew in his mind, okay, Jimmy Garoppolo
Mhm.
is not going to be able to get me this 10 right here on 3rd and 9 in this critical juncture.
So I'm gonna sell it.
Okay.
I'm gonna sell it. The reason is it's like you could say the same thing with Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford the week prior. It was 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 8. They decided to just hand the ball off to Sony Michelle. He didn't throw in and with Matthew Stafford to try to end this game there or whatever it may be. Yeah, it would have been to end the game because they had the touchdown lead at that point. No, Sean McVay decided to just run the ball with Sony Michelle, understanding the 49ers were going to call a quick timeout to get the ball directly off a punt. And are we going to use that same narrative that Sean McVay doesn't trust Matthew Stafford in a 3rd and 8 to pick it up? No, I think you just go ahead and go with what play do I have that's A gonna eliminate the turnover percentage and B guarantees that the clock is gonna be running as long as my guy doesn't go out of bounds. You don't have to have the whole he needs to complete the pass scenario. So I think that's what Kyle Shanahan went. He went with a high percentage run play with Debo Samuel because those end arounds work like crazy. I don't think it's a little trust. I don't think it has to do with trusting Jimmy Garoppolo in that direct situation. Now, does Kyle Shanahan trust Jimmy Garoppolo in general? That's a broad question. That's a question for a different day. But that single situation, I think Shanahan did what gave his team the best chance to win, and there was no trust evaluation in that play call. It wasn't like, should I do a pass attempt here? No, I think it was like, okay, what high percentage run play do I have? I don't think the whole I can't pass because Jimmy's my quarterback. I don't think that really crossed his mind. I just think that Shanahan wanted to make sure that ball or that clock kept running, and it was a play that gave him a percentage to convert a first down, not just a simple dive up the middle or a toss out that to the outside the tackles, which wasn't working all game with Elijah Mitchell essentially. So that's what I think. I don't think it has to do with the trust in Jimmy Garoppolo in that situation.
No, I just think it's a feel for the game, and
Yes.
that's good. That's what you want your coach to do.
Yes.
You never go on preconceived notions of, well, remember what he did a few games ago, or remember what he did last year. No, if you're not feeling it in this game, then do what's best for your team. And I thought Kyle Shanahan did that.
What's Do you think the 49ers have to get Kittle involved to win this game? Kittle typically has good games against the Green Bay Packers, other than the time Jimmy Garoppolo only had to throw the ball 8 times. For the first time since George Kittle's rookie year, he's had 4 straight games for under 30 yards. Yes, the 49ers are 3-1 in that scenario, so who cares about the stats? But in this specific matchup where tight ends do eat Green Bay secondary, that's usually the best matchup because they do have uh Mackenzie Alexander or not Mackenzie. Why do I keep saying Mackenzie Alexander? Jair Alexander on the
Yeah,
outside playing corner.
Mackenzie's a Viking.
Yeah. Eric Stokes is a decent player as well on the outside. So right there, your tight end's usually going to be your best matchup. Do the 49ers need George Kittle to get over 30 yards to win this game?
Yeah, he definitely will in this game. And they're going to attack their linebackers, which is where you should be doing that. And that's look, Kittle had a very good game in that first game. He made a big play on that last drive in the fourth quarter. So yes, and I think that a lot of what's going on with George Kittle game to game is matchup specific, right?
Hmm.
You want to run the ball a ton. You want to run the ball 38 times. You don't want to give that away. So George Kittle's a vital portion of that. So I understand you want to get him involved, and a lot of people feel like he's left out in the cold. But I wouldn't say it's that. And it's more about the specific game plan against which team. But this week, now that the offensive line has been performing the way that it has lately and the way that they've been, I don't think he's going to need to be in there blocking as much. They are going to run the ball a ton. He's still going to be involved in that. But I figure that those plays off of play action that are going to be there because they're going to be able to run the ball are going to be drafted up for George Kittle because there are chances for you to exploit this linebacker group as opposed to taking shots at Eric Stokes and Jair Alexander. Jair actually, I think he had an interception in week 3 in the home opener as well on a play that was a throw to
Yes.
Kittle, which was he
Hmm.
ran from the other side of the field. So
Hmm.
again, matchups. I think Kyle knows exactly what's going on. And I think that when you are going to have to draft up pass plays in this game, because you will, there's no way you're going to be able to just throw the ball 8 times unless, there's something that we're missing. I know that the Green Bay Packers don't exactly have a great run defense, but if
Hmm.
they are going to draft up those shots, it will be for George Kittle in this game. And it will be out of looks where he's in there, usually generally blocking on play action looks, and they'll be able to get him the ball.
Yeah, slants. Or I think they had an opportunity this game against the Cowboys to basically hit a touchdown with George Kittle, but I forgot who it was. Single digit defensive back got in Jimmy Garoppolo's face, created the pressure. That was when Jimmy Garoppolo threw it and the play went for negative yards to Elijah Mitchell. But George Kittle leaked out to the other side and he was running by himself. He had like about 10 yards of separation or so. But Jimmy Garoppolo didn't have the opportunity to step back and throw it into Kittle. He basically just had to get rid of the ball at that point. So it was either a great blitz. I haven't watched the all 22 of that Cowboys game. So it was either great blitz or misblocked by someone. But uh, there was a play designed to get George Kittle a big, big time touchdown. So I do think George Kittle does have to have at least 30 yards in this one for the 49ers to come on top. Because like you said, it's not going to be a game where Jimmy Garoppolo has 8 passes and one of those is to Kittle. It's not going to be like that. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to have to pass the ball minimum 15 times in this one, like legit minimum. And the reason why I'm going with such a low numbers because if the 49ers ground game is going well, the time of possession is on their side. They don't have to go out there and throw for 25 times. And with that recipe, the way the weather's playing out, you expect to see a lot of run action for the 49ers offense. And hopefully it could just both teams, they love to take care of time possession. So if both teams could, kind of do their own thing with that, maybe that eliminates Aaron Rodgers from having 10 to 11 possessions in this game. And that would bode huge for the 49ers because their opposing teams average about 10 possessions per game against the 49ers defense. And if the 49ers keep it around 8 possessions or so, Aaron Rodgers is only going to score about 40% of that. So you would figure 3 scoring possessions.
You
Don't let
hope.
those all be touchdowns.
You hope. Man, I'm happy we got Packers fans in here. We not Dallas, they clown. We Green Bay. It's over for y'all 49ers. Okay, bet. Let go Packers. Kenneth, just be here Tuesday. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
Yes.
Just be here
Be here
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Just be here Tuesday. Chill out. It's Tuesday right now. We got a
Mhm.
few days, and I get it. You're hype. You want revenge. Oh, those 49ers, they bounced us. Oh, we haven't been to a Super Bowl in a long time. We make it to the NFC Championship every year and we lose. Oh, those 49ers, we got to get them back. Calm down, bro. Relax.
Hey,
Yeah,
we could
your
do
team.
you a favor. You don't have to deal with that whole "we lost in the NFC Championship" mentality.
We can get
You
you
can
out of
just
here
lose
like Cap
again.
did. We can get you out of here like Cap did in the divisional round a few years back, man. If you remember that, we can
Yeah,
get
we
you up
can
out
end
of
the
here
misery.
quick. Yeah,
Y'all
I
don't
mean,
have to be like Philly.
we don't even have to spare you. Like we can spare you even getting upset about losing in the NFC Championship when your coach doesn't go for it on fourth down and chooses a field goal. Oh, too soon.
Which Cowboys low-key did the same thing. I saw the Cowboys do that. In the fourth quarter, they cut down a 2-touchdown game into a 2-touchdown game. I'll take
Mm.
it, though. I'll take it, though.
But I will give you props, man. You should be out here talking crazy. Good for you, man. It's just I want to see you Tuesday. Make sure you pull up Tuesday because
Tuesday.
other fan bases have expressed similar sentiments about
Mhm,
what they think is going to happen, and then
mhm.
they turn off YouTube and they delete their channel and they don't want to talk about football anymore. Like, don't be like that. Like, we
No,
still
and,
gonna keep talking. We still gonna keep
yeah,
talking. Like,
I'm still gonna be
we're
here
not done.
Tuesday, and
Yeah.
bad connection or not, we'll still make it happen Tuesday. We'll be here, so expect to see you here, not like the Cowboys fans that just I guess there is no more. Apparently, I don't know how they're the number one franchise in Forbes and all of sports when most of their crowd is wearing red. Makes sense.
I mean, I love what Stephen A. Smith did. This past first take, and he was just on
Mhm.
not today, yesterday's, where he just laughed and laughed and laughed at the Cowboys fans crying. Like, I don't like people being upset and crying, right? But like, if you're crying
Right.
over a football game, I'm definitely clowning you, man. That's so perfect, man. I love this so much, man. What a great job, man. I loved it.
Dude, I would if I ever became a meme for crying at a football game, I won't watch football no more.
I would just
Like
delete
I'm
my
done.
account.
Like I'm done. All
Somebody
social media done.
I posted the video of that one Cowboys fan crying with I guess his girl in his arm, and I think someone is either clout chasing or telling the truth in the comments on my Instagram, and they're saying that that's their coworker. I
If
want to
it
know for
is,
sure.
yeah, that's hilarious. They look so sad, man.
The one
That
girl's
other
crying. There's like 5 minutes left in the game, and even Romo's like, "Dude, chill out, yo."
Yo, when that lady was crying, it to me it felt like because I'm Mexican, it would felt like it was at a Mexican party and someone just threw on Vicente Fernandez. Like
Oh well, that's
that's
yeah, but
that's what I felt. That's what I felt like.
that's tears
She's
of
like,
joy.
yeah, she like 10 shots in, like thinking about a family member. Like usually that's what happens around those times, and that's what I felt. I was like, damn,
Nah,
put,
what got me was
put
a
on
little bit.
Chete.
I started thinking like, damn, something else is wrong with Shawty. Like she got some other stuff going on, right? She crying about
Her
something that
man
don't got
got
nothing to
kicked
do with
out.
football.
She drunk as
Some
hell.
or something, right? It's like 4 minutes left. You ain't crying about the game. You still have plenty of time, like to get this done. Like you were right there. All you had to do was score your touchdown. Like you still
Her
had plenty of time.
her man took off. She got no money
Something,
for an Uber. Like she done.
something. I don't know. She was going through something else. I feel like so. Shout out to her, man. I hope she's
Lost her
doing better.
phone.
Yeah,
Lost her phone. Like
I hope she's doing better, man. Like that's it. I'm more look, now that I'm getting older, right? Now that I'm getting older, a little bit wiser, I care about people's feelings. So I hope that she's not going through
no,
something that
you
don't have to
don't,
do with the
man.
Cowboys thing. No, if she's crying
No,
about the
man.
Cowboys
I don't
game,
want to hear that, man.
if she's
I
crying about the
care.
Cowboys game,
I
we
care
cooking her.
about other people's feelings. The cap,
Nah,
Jay.
I do.
Come on.
I care about her feelings if something bad happened to her. But if she crying about the Cowboys game,
Well,
she
yeah, of
deserves
course,
it all. She
yeah.
deserves it all. But yeah,
Two
she was
two separate subjects there. Cowboys
absolutely.
personal. Cowboys personal life.
No,
As long as she's with the Cowboys, I don't care.
We we still smoking that Dallas pack all the way into September. Whenever we get back to football, like we not getting up off them. Like we're gonna chill because we have another game to talk about, but we not getting up off them. Like when I see a Dallas Cowboys fan pop up on my timeline, I'm still gonna dunk on them, and y'all still gonna catch the smoke. So don't think that there's gonna be a 1 week thing where we're on your
Uh,
head and then you go,
uh-uh.
no, 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 no. You got to make the playoffs again and beat us now to get away from this because we talking wild crazy on y'all now, and we not letting it up. I'm not letting up.
Am I the only one who thinks Green Bay's uniforms are just plain ugly? Like I know Trey Lance came from North Dakota State with that green and the yellow, but I look at the green and the yellow with that G that's all over, Georgia, Grambling. Hell, even my high school, I had to, wear that on my football helmet. It's just ugly. Like ugly. Like it's an ugly combination. Like who wakes up and says, I'm gonna wear green and yellow today? Like who the hell does that?
Well, look, all right. Here's what I'm gonna say.
It's so ugly.
The reputation that the Packers Packers fans have, that community, that stadium, they're all nice, right? Like you could pull up and park in their like in on their lawn for like $20 and they'll give you beer and food and then they'll send you to the game. Like they're not gonna heckle you or anything like that. As far as the uniforms go, yeah, it's ugly, but it's classic, right? Like when you think
I don't
about
care. I
the
don't care.
cornerstone
To
and
me,
the
classic, which is cool, is the New York Yankees. Like, yeah, I'll throw on some
mm,
navy blue. I'll throw on some navy blue. You could wear a Yankees hat wherever.
all right,
K1 wore it for his game day fit. Like you could wear that for wherever. But green and yellow,
but
oh
look,
man, like
but look,
what?
look,
What?
man. They're going to Lambeau Field. It's
What?
going to be cold. That just reminds you of those old NFL films with that epic ass music and the frozen tundra of Lambeau
Uh,
Field.
oh damn!
Like
I feel bad.
they're a
I feel bad.
cornerstone
I feel bad for
franchise.
the A's fans now. I feel bad for the A's fans now.
A's fans hate Yankees fans, but the cornerstone franchises, the Bears, the Packers, the Steelers, the Cowboys, the Niners, like the teams that when you think of greatness in the NFL, those moments, those are the teams that flash up most of the time. It is what it is with the Packers, man. That they're
Mhm.
still a cornerstone franchise, and like I still get goosebumps when you watch those old NFL films, um, shows with them, talking about Bart Starr, and that's a what is it? That's a haircut you could set your watch to, but they are a cornerstone franchise. And yeah, you know what? The jerseys or whatever, but I'm glad that they kept it, right? Like I was so disappointed going to Soldier Field and on my way there, the Uber driver is telling me that they're gonna move away from Soldier Field because they're building a dome for the Chicago Bears. And that doesn't feel right. Like all of those old NFL films, videos are in Soldier Field with guys in like cold ass weather, and now you're gonna have a dome. Like certain things shouldn't be messed with, and that's why I think no matter what you feel about their colors, they're still a cornerstone franchise and they're still a pillar of the NFL. So you just got to kind of live with it.
Yes, I know that, Jay, but just say it. Like their color combos are ugly.
Whatever, it's ugly. They gonna get smoked, man. It don't matter, man. Like it
Ugly.
don't matter. Go. Let's read this one.
Yeah. Shout out Jose here for the donation. I felt the Cowboys pump noise to the stadium. There was a lot of red. Do you think we can stop Adams or limit him?
I mean, Adams didn't really go crazy in week 3. He didn't go crazy in week 3. That was Aaron Rodgers being able to spread it out, and the defense wasn't the same. So, look, Devontae Adams is the best receiver in football, and I'm not going to argue with anybody on that because I'm
Hmm.
not here to argue about that. That's an opinion, but sometimes opinions are right away true. Devontae Adams is that guy. Is that guy. But he didn't cook the 49ers in week 3. That wasn't why they lost. He made the one catch in the fourth quarter. Like he did them in harder in 2020 in that COVID game. It wasn't
Yes.
this past year. So there's a world where Devontae Adams isn't even really doing anything that the 49ers can still lose because Aaron Rodgers is still that good. So
Hmm.
I think it's less about limiting Adams. I mean, obviously you have to do that, but you got to keep Rodgers in check because he still can throw the ball like Lazard. He's on the he's on the same page with him now. I think it was MVS that scored the game-winning touchdown in or the one that put them up and made the 49ers go the other way, right? When Lenore just missed the throw over his head.
Hmm.
So, Adams is Adams and he's gonna do his thing. Like you're not gonna fully cover him, right? But it's about Rodgers. It's about Rodgers. You got to get into his face. You got to get into Rodgers' face.
Yeah, and I'll say I think someone said in the chat here it's basically what every opposing team says about Debo Samuel. You can't stop him. You just hope to limit him. And I think that goes true with Devontae Adams. Like there's no true stopping Devontae Adams. You're not gonna hold him to one catch for 12 yards, no touchdowns. Like that's not going to happen. And if it does, I am so happy I would be the first person to be like, "Yo, shout out Bozo for being wrong on that, saying it can't happen." I would be the first person to say that. Um, but you hope to limit him. If you can limit him to 6 receptions, 65 yards, that's a win. That's a win for this 49ers team. And 65 yards over the span of a season, that's 1,000 yard season for a receiver. So receivers, they'll take that. Uh, so with Devontae Adams, you just got to limit him. You're not going to completely take him out of the game, not with the bunk receivers that the Green Bay Packers have, uh, or I should say inconsistent receivers that the Green Bay Packers have, because there are other guys who could show up and make one big play, a Lazard or
And they split Aaron
Valdez
Jones out.
Scantling.
They
Like
they
they
split
split.
they split him
Yeah.
out with AJ Dillon in the backfield. Like
Hmm.
that's another weapon that they have. Aaron Jones is so good, man. I really love him.
Nice. I do too, because we're from the same hometown. So Aaron Jones is also my guy from UTIP, and it's just, if you could hold Devontae Adams 6 receptions, 65 yards, you're probably in a great position to win this game. Because if Devontae Adams has 65 yards, what's Aaron Rodgers' total? 180? And it's not like they're gonna gush you on the ground. This defense hasn't gave up 100-yard rusher since Vietnam. I don't know. It's been a very long time.
Since
So,
Vietnam.
so if you're talking about Aaron Rodgers throwing from 180, the rushing tax about 90. Now your total offense against is 270. Quick math, real quick. That's probably that goes in the 49ers' favor. If the 49ers, or excuse me, if the Packers have less than 300 of total offensive yards, 49ers are probably ahead in this game, and they would probably win that game. So I think you got to take 6 receptions, 65 yards. That's the number that I would be looking at for Devontae Adams.
Yeah, and let's take this last donation, and I got to
Yeah.
get out of here because for anybody that's in here and wants to see something that's cool, I'm jumping on a Buffalo Bills stream
Yep.
with Splash Cousin after this at 6 p.m. Pacific time with my guy Jay Spence, who's a Buffalo Bills guy, and a familiar face, Booby Dixon. And Booby was in Dallas, so we're gonna get
Yes,
a
it
chance to
was.
pick his brain a little bit. He was repping the Niners very hard, and it's
Him
clear
and,
that he has ties to both. So,
him and CJ Spielman. So,
yep.
uh, Armando, appreciate the chat here. Ground and pound the run game, play good defense, and limit Jimmy D to under 20 passes. Special teams have to pick up their game. Absolutely, special teams. And they have on one side, but I think they need to pick up their game in coverage, as far as kickoff return coverage and punt return coverage. They need to pick up that part of their game. Robbie Gold has done a hell of a job. Wisnowski, you know, did a fine job against the Dallas Cowboys. So I completely agree with you on that. Jason, any last comments? Do you want to hit on that?
No, I think that obviously that's kind of what we've been harping on. That's pretty much the 49ers way to get it done no matter what. So yeah. And for anybody who's looking for the link, it's on my Twitter. And I'll blast it out one more time when we go on, so you guys can watch on there. If you're not following me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter at Jason Aponte 2103. But yeah, this is the formula, not against the Packers, against everybody. And that's why when people are like, well, what do you expect from the 49ers? I expect them to come out, run the ball. I expect them to control the clock. That's every week. And that's why most teams don't want to have this matchup, is because this travels all the way through January into February against no matter what the opponent is, against any sort of weather conditions. And, Jimmy's from Chicago, so he knows how to be cold and everything as well. So you just got to hope that shoulder is not bothering him, but he's going to have to make some throws in this game for sure.
Absolutely. And lastly, guys, if you haven't subscribed to Jason's channel, I know 100% of his views are not from subscribers. So subscribe to Jason's channel, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, helps the algorithm. You help the algorithm, then we could talk trash to the opposing fans that we play each and every single week.
But they
So,
help us out too. So like everybody that comes
yep.
in here and you're an opposing fan, when you send a comment, when you join our show, all you're really doing is helping. So we want to say thank you. That's why I'm saying, like, pull back up on Tuesday so we can say thank you again.
Exactly. There it is. Talk to you guys.